Hey everyone, guess what came in the mail? My beautiful new May Silk and Sonder planner. Now, actually, I'm gonna refer to it as a planner journal because the last thing that I need is to buy one more planner, which maybe some of you know that already. I just have bought so many planners because either I think that maybe the next planner I buy will be the next perfect planner, or maybe I bought them to review them, but this planner is like, journal planner I mean, is so beautiful and I am so excited to show it to you. So let me do a little unboxing, or unenveloping as I say sometimes. These planners come in the mail with an envelope and not a box, and I'm so excited to show this to you. The first thing I noticed when I took it out was that it came with a little envelope with some little inserts that tell you how to use the planner, give you some tips, and my favorite thing here is that I really like this feelings wheel. A lot of, from what I've seen, I bought this because of, you know, one of those Instagram ads. I know, I need to stop like scrolling, but I saw it and I was like, wow, that's so pretty. And what I saw in the ad was it's a lot of reflective activities, journaling, things to make you think, things to unwind, mental health activities, things like that. And so I think that this is really helpful because when you're journaling, sometimes being more specific with what you're writing can be better. And so I really like this feelings wheel. It breaks things down. So it's got sadness, surprise, joy, love, fear, and anger. And within them, it breaks it down even further into other things that fall under that category. Actually, I feel like I've seen this before, maybe like in a psychology class, but I'm really excited to use this. Moving along, this cover is so gorgeous. You know how much I love florals. Every single thing I own has florals, or at least planners. The May, I love the light green background. It's very springy, and the purple violet is just so gorgeous. So I really, really love this cover. Now, this is actually a tiny bit smaller than I thought it would be. I'm not exactly sure why. I thought it might be maybe a little bit closer to an 8 by 10. You know what? I actually have my planner that I recently reviewed. I'll grab that. This is an 8 by 10 planner. And so holding it up comparatively, it's, you know, it's a little bit smaller, but if you're going to get one of these each month, then you probably don't want it to be that much bigger because then it would take up a lot of space. So I really like it. So I'm excited to open it up and look through. On the first page, it says, in case of loss, please return to, which is funny for me in a planner like this. With the amount of personal information, things I would pour my heart and soul into this little booklet, I don't think that I would put something like this in my backpack. Maybe somebody would. Maybe if you are traveling, you could bring it with you, or maybe you just feel more comfortable bringing your planner with you. I'm looking at the index, that's the next page, and it's got creativity prompts and mood tracker and intentions, and this is me, and that just feels like really personal information, so I'm not sure I would bring this with me. You totally could, but I think I would leave this home. I really like the index because all of the pages are numbered, so it does have that journal book feeling. And the May 2021 on that cover, on that index page, is just, again, I really don't think I've ever seen anything style-wise in terms of font and florals that is like my style. This is, never seen anything so much as this. That's my style. It's so beautiful. Now moving along, page 2 has the Welcome May, and you get an intro from the creator of Silk and Sonder. And then there's an instruction sheet on the next page. So that's really nice and really helpful. Just some recommendations on how to get the best use out of your wellness journal. Now, turning the page, what I really like, you know how I feel about perpetual calendars too, because sometimes you just need a quick at a glance, let me look, like what day does this date fall on? Am I traveling? Am I gonna be out of town? Like depending on your work, you might like to have a calendar like that. So 2021 has January through December, and on the page next to it, and again, I know you're gonna hear me say this the whole time I'm reviewing this, the florals on the May calendar page are so beautiful. So you get a May calendar. Now the only downfall I would say here is that it's very small. So the boxes you'd have to write really small in. If you were using this as maybe a journal for the month, I could see maybe not using this page or using it differently. So for example, maybe you write one good thing that happened, but perhaps since it is smaller, you don't use this for your plans, your chores, your work, your errands. I recently did a video on how to color code your planner, and I don't think that this would be optimal for that. Not to say you couldn't use this for something else, but the small space would probably not work for that. That being said though, you could still use it as a calendar, and it's just the purple and the florals, gorgeous. The next 2 pages are future logs. So you get a June, July, August, and September overview. And again, these are also small, but these, the way that they're future log, it's almost like, what do I have on the horizon? It's May now, June, July, August, September, so like all throughout the summer into the early fall, what do I have planned? You know, it's like I said, it's funny to be starting to think about being able to travel again and go places in this, you know, sort of COVID, I don't want to say post-COVID world because we still need to be careful, but you know, kind of like recovery, people are starting to do things again. And so making plans and looking out long-term, you can definitely do that with these pages here. Now the next page I really like, it's for April intentions. Review your last month before setting your intentions for the upcoming one. And I really like that because sometimes I feel like you get to a point where it's the new month, the new quarter, the new year, and you're like, I'm ready to make goals or I'm ready to set intentions. And then you're like, I didn't really reflect on what happened. I'm only thinking about going forward. And sometimes you can't efficiently and think about going forward the best way possible without reflecting. So it goes through April wins, April hiccups, April favorite moments, hard moments, and what do I want to start, stop, and continue, which I really like that question. It's a great question. And then the next page is those May intentions. So new month, new you. Setting intentions is not making a to-do list. It's asking something of yourself and then giving yourself the strength to do it. And I really like that, the idea of going into a month with an intention rather than a to-do list. So thinking about this month coming up, I want to focus on, you know, my space. How can I clean up my space, reorganize, donate some things? And instead of going with a laundry list of 900 things you need to do, going in with an intention and then maybe making a few tasks that you do each day as the day comes that focus on that intention. So I really like the idea of an intention versus a long list also, because sometimes I think long lists can be intimidating, overwhelming, and you start doing them and you're like, I'm never gonna finish, and then I don't know, you can't fulfill it. So I love this idea. Maybe it's something that I will try for the month of May as well. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hear me say it again. These florals, oh my gosh, the mood tracker and the habit tracker are just like so gorgeous. The mood tracker I really like. It gives you 6 circles to decide. You can color the circle in, and then you can decide what mood you want to put. So I think you could probably do numbers, like on a scale of 1 to 6. You could do 6 different descriptions. You can really do it however you want, but I'm definitely planning on doing that. And then the May habit tracker, it looks like there's space for about like 6 or 7 different habits, which I also like that, because if you're trying to do a habit tracker for 30 habits, it gets to be way too much. So this is kind of going back to that intention, like what do I want to focus on, and narrowing it down to like what actually matters versus what am I doing? Like, why am I adding this? It makes you pick those 7 things. So I really love this habit tracker. And it also looks, everything is like so neat, so organized. If you're a person who's like, maybe I want to be a bullet journaler, but I don't know, like this is the planner for you. Order one, try it out for a month, and say like, oh, that was really fun. Like I do maybe want to get a bullet journal. I can never say this word, a bullet journal. But it's nice because you can try it out for a month without having to commit to buying like stencils and rulers and pens and all of that. So love this habit tracker, love these 2 pages. Moving along to the next page, the sleep tracker. I also want to do this because I have been sleeping more consistently than I have in my entire adult life post-pandemic, which is like kind of crazy. But I certainly wasn't in college or in grad school or while I was a teacher or any other jobs I've had. And so I like this idea of when I fell asleep, when I woke up, the number of hours and how rested I feel. And the reason why I like that is because sometimes you're like, I went to bed in enough time, I just don't feel rested. And to kind of see if the days of the week that happened on, maybe something else that you tracked would be an indication of why you didn't sleep well. So for example, maybe you have like a food journal and you notice that you had, 2 cups of caffeinated whatever in the evening, and then that night you didn't sleep well. So I really like this sleep tracker, and I definitely want to try that out. The next page that is on the other side of the sleep tracker is the idea log. What problems, pain points, or conversations do you encounter? How might you do it better? Every day, write an idea of something you wish existed to make your life better. So I really like that. It's pretty simple, straightforward, but definitely something that you could do every day, or maybe just, sometimes if you have a day where something pops into your mind, you can go ahead and use that idea log. I wonder what I'm up to, like 7? I don't know. How many times have I talked about the florals? This page Oh my gosh. So this is creative sketch. Creativity is spontaneous. Look around you, observe, and sketch what you see. So it's like 4 little empty Polaroid, like, you know, looks like a little empty Polaroid, and you can just draw something. I'm not quite an artist, so I might actually take these and instead of drawing a picture, maybe trying to like use my fancy calligraphy, like the best that I can do. I'm certainly not a calligrapher or anything like that, and writing a word that describes how I'm feeling, but I love the creative sketch pages. The next 2 pages are also about creativity. So the first is creativity prompts. Reflect on a time when you felt your most creative. What settings, environment, or surroundings contributed to this experience? What are 3 places, people, or things that have inspired your imagination lately? And what is your favorite way to express your creative side? And then on the next page, it is a creativity activity. I define creativity as it isn't, it feels like, when I'm feeling creative, I'm listening to, I'm surrounded by, and a few more things. One thing I would recommend if you get one of these Silk and Sonder journal planners is to look through all of this at the beginning of the month. And the reason why I say that is because if you're like, I'm gonna sit down today and I'm gonna do page 17, you might get there and you might be like, ah, geez, like I define creativity as like, I don't know how I define creativity, like maybe I don't feel really creative right now, you know? But if you look at it at the beginning of the month, you might catch yourself in a moment where you're like, I'm feeling really creative right now. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That was a prompt. I'm going to write about this later. So I think it's a good idea to explore the journal thoroughly at the beginning of the month, just because it might help you when you're writing or doing one of the activities later in the month. The next page is a coloring page, and this is so cute. This is one of those like adult coloring book style coloring pages, and it's this beautiful piano. So I'm gonna do this. I might do the light purple, dark purple, yellow themes and tones of the florals throughout this, but we'll see. This is gonna take me a long time because it's so detailed, but I bet it would be really relaxing to just get my pens or colored pencils and just color. And then the next page there is a quote. Moving along, there is a recipe for spicy lime avocado soup. It looks really good, so I might make that. I'm always trying to like pick every few months like a new recipe that goes in the repertoire, and it has to be easy and usually involve a crock pot. So we'll see with this one. It does look good. And then on the next page, this is me. And this is just like a cute little fun, my favorite color, favorite book. Which celebrity couple am I rooting for? Gosh, I don't know if I have an answer for that one. My greatest talent, favorite school subject, favorite hobby, something that makes me feel joy. Ooh, I like this. What is my favorite food to get delivered? Really, like anything would be good. Favorite holiday, if I could turn back time, would I? The first thing I like to do when I wake up is, and what is one thing I'm afraid of? So just like, again, these ones are probably a little bit easier of a prompt. So if you're like, I want to sit down and do something, this would be a good page. This is page 21, so that's a good one. And then pages 22 and 23 are notes pages, which I really like. Now you get those notes right before another quote page with, again, gorgeous florals and a monthly expense tracker. Now, I do all of my monthly expenses, bills, budgeting, all of that online, so I won't be using this page, but it is beautiful. And let's say you're not a budgeter and you want to be a budgeter, you want to be smarter about your money, you could always just use this page to write down what you've been buying, and then at the end of the month, reflect, look, and say, you know what? Like, I don't know if I needed to buy, you know, XYZ, or maybe I'm, you know, eating out too much and I didn't realize, or I'm stopping and getting whatever on the way to work. Like for me, I just use those examples because for me, for a long time, like takeout was such a big thing because, as I just mentioned, I don't like to cook. So you could use this expense tracker in that way if you wanted to, but you could definitely use it. And then moving on, you get the weekly. So this is really a nice weekly planner. So if you can't fit your plans onto that May calendar at the beginning, this weekly is amazing. Now, the first thing I'll say that I really like is that you get the end of April as well for that last week. So because May starts on a Saturday and this planner starts on a Monday, so I know some people like their planners to start on Sunday, some to start on Monday. This planner starts on Monday. You get that Monday, let me see, that must be the 26, 7, 8, 9, 30. Yep. So you get like 5 days in April, and you get the weekly to-do list, the 3 major goals. This week I want to feel. You get a habit and an activity tracker, which I love that. You get a meal plan if that's something that you want to write down. You also get a quote from, I guess they vary, so they vary throughout. This one is from Albert Einstein, and then the following week, let's see, we've got, Pablo Picasso. mind, body, and health plan, so maybe your fitness, whatever, something that would fit into that, maybe reflective journaling, whatever, you could put that there. A shopping list and a great food, memory, and song. So that's your sort of, I would say, like a reflective overview of the week. And then for actual plans, you get a page that says at the top one thing. So it could be something special, it could be a reminder. Under that is the weather, which actually, like, that is so cute. I mean, who writes down their weather in the planner? Like, you just look on an app on your phone, but that is actually really cute. You get a little sunshine, a partly cloudy, get snow, rain, get all the things. And then there's just some grid columns, which I really like. You could put lists, you could put ideas, to-dos, chores, errands, plans, whatever. And then at the bottom, there are 8 little droplets in case you're tracking your water, which again, you don't have to use, but you could. And then just a note, Saturday and Sunday are the tiniest bit smaller. So you have that starting on April 26th and going all the way through May 2nd, and then you get 2 more notes pages, and then that's how it continues for the rest of the planner through the end of May. So let's see if it goes into June at all. It does not. Then I'll tell you why it doesn't go into June is because May 30th is on a Sunday, so I'm assuming that they would put May 31st with the June planner. And then it ends with a notes page on page 55. And then I love this at the end, the definition of Sonder, the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own, populated with their own ambitions, friends, routines, worries, and inherited craziness, an epic story that continues invisibly around you. And this is honestly something I think about. Like, when I'm having a moment where I'm thinking about all the things, I'm like, everybody is thinking about all the things right now. So I didn't know there was a word for that. And I just think that's really cool. And then the back cover is, again, just gorgeous florals. So I am really, really excited to use this. There's like the tiniest little itsy bit of a downfall, and it's like super small and I don't mind, but I did notice that when I got it, the coil here is just like ever so slightly off. Now, this is not something, as I said, this is gonna have some personal thoughts in there, so I'm not gonna be tossing this in my backpack and like taking it places with me. That being said, if you would take this places with you, you just wanna be careful with it because this is paper, there's no plastic cover or anything like that, which is fine. And the coils, like I said, can be just like a little bit like a little bit tiny, like bent, like right here. So I have heard that they have amazing customer service, so I'm sure that if I wrote in, they would replace this, but like, it's like the tiniest, littlest, itsy bitsy thing. I'm not gonna make a big deal out of that. Another thing that I wanna say about using this planner. Okay, so this is a lot. I think we can all agree this is a lot. This is super fun. I think it's good to reflect on all of these things, but sometimes you feel like you spend so much time planning, you're like, did I actually do anything? So what I think would be great about this planner is to do this a few times a year. And it's a subscription, so I signed up for it, but then I went to cancel it today, and it's like, you can cancel it or you can postpone it. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because maybe it's January and you're like, I'm gonna start and I'm gonna get this, and I am going to reflect and set myself up for success for this year. But then you're like, I don't really need to do this again in February, March, April, May. But then you're like, you know what, like it's June, like we're halfway through the year, I need to reflect again. And so you're like, you know what, I have my subscription, I'll just, boot it back up. So I really like that about this. It's also nice because you could always like maybe split a subscription with friends if you want, but I really like that you could do this a few times throughout the year, or who knows, maybe you are a person that you would sit down and do this, who knows, like every single day you would sit down with your planner. I think it's good if you're having a month where you've maybe just come off of like a really crazy season with work, or maybe something's going on in your personal life that has got you like really stressed, or something's really upset you and you're just like, I need to just focus on myself. I think this would be a good monthly journal planner for you. One closing thought is that I'm curious how much I will actually use this. My May, except for the first week, is pretty calm, and so things have been a little busy for me in April, like a lot going on in my work and my personal life, and so I'm really looking forward to exhaling. So I'm gonna come back at the end of May or maybe the first week of June, and I'm gonna do a review of how this went for me. So I'm really excited to show you some befores, afters, and tell you how much of this I actually use, but I'm hoping that I use quite a bit of it. Anyway, if you have purchased Silk and Sonder planner, if you've used it, if you find them to be amazing, if you find them to be overwhelming, I would love to hear about that in the comments below. So leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.